These are bits and pieces of canes that I had a big ball of it and I squared it off so that I could cut into blocks, got all the gaps and air out, and then I look for a side that looks interesting. This looks cool. And I'm going to take a slice about an 1/8 inch thick and run it through the pasta machine to spread the pattern. There's a 1, 2, 3. This is kind of old scrap, so it's a little crackly, but it'll be okay. And I'll take it to a 4. So effective. So I'm going to back this with a really light color, and that'll make the final product pop out more. So now I've got kind of a sandwich of 2 layers of this number 4, and I'm going to flatten that a little. So here's my scrap, and this is a technique that a lot of people have done really cool things with. It's burnishing the strip down to the table, or the flat piece down to the table, and then taking really thin, let's throw away, really thin, like 1 millimeter wide strips with the stiffest blade, and as you push down on it, you sweep it up and it sticks to the blade. Then I take it over to a black background that's rolled out on about a 4, and just by rocking it back and forth, it sticks to the background. A lot of people have done really different cool things with this technique.
And you're doing it so they're uniform, or?
I actually found that it was better to do a little wonky, like here's a kind of a triangular shape. It gives it a little more interest. And they're spaced out on the black background slightly. That's
So
what
you're
gives,
leaving a little to show in between.
right, that makes it look like the mosaic pieces. So kind of wonky. Here you don't have to be perfectly even, but the technique of pushing down and pulling off, and it really only works with the stiffest blade, and then just placing it on and rocking it back and forth. I'm going to vary the widths, and I kind of stagger them a little bit so that it's a little more mixed up. So I'm going to work my way through this.
Okay, I'm gonna.
This black background with all the strips. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees.
And you didn't roll it through the machine?
No, it's still raised.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Turn it 90 degrees, and I have another piece of background clay that's about a 3 or 4 also. And I'm going to cut, this is scrap here, more scrap. Cut thin slices of this so that I have squares. And place it the same way, cut a strip, lift it, lay it down. So right now you can see there's little squares with black all the way around it. And they're standing up really tall. So I'm going to continue to do this until I get all the squares cut.
And you're not making it wonky this time.
You're right. Thanks for reminding me. I have a tendency to be very precise. I have to remind myself not to be precise. So yeah,
Really?
that looks more interesting. That really does. And thick, thin, angles. I always leave them pretty much the same distance apart though.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna turn.
Background with the strips. I still have quite a bit left over because it spreads out. Now, this is where I take this piece with the little squares on it, and one way I've used to deform it is with the brayer, by pushing different angles, different directions, and flattening those raised squares so that it splays out and you can see the color that I put underneath, the light color.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
And this, oops, I really went deep there.
And it's uneven pressure.
Yeah, yeah, because I want it to look more organic. So at a certain point, I will take it off the table. And I can either run it through the machine to kind of smooth it out.
Which direction?
That I would choose. I think I would go this direction because there's more spaces going this way, and that way it would spread it out. So let me try it on the one. I hope I don't spread it too far. No, this is good. This is good. Now, you can see how they've tilted, and you can see the edges.
Yeah, it's much,
More dimension.
yeah, and it's not so regular. Yeah.
And I might pull on it if there's some tight spots. So that's basically the veneer, and you could back it with something to make it thicker, to make something that you need to be thick, or you can just use
let
it.
me see that piece again.
This,
Yeah,
this has a backing
yeah.
to make it thick and usable.
Yeah.
So whatever you're using it for, you could use it this thin or make it thicker. But this really turned out well. I like this.
Great.
Add it to my collection here.